I thought I'd make a video to show you how to disassemble the 2240 pistol. If you're going to do a valve upgrade or add a breech or do some sights or a muzzle brake, it's good to know how to take these apart. So you'll need 4 tools to do it. You need a 5/64 Allen wrench, or I use the dynamite tools, a .050 Allen wrench, and a 1/16 inch Allen wrench for the new 3-screw grip frame. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just take the fill cap off the gun, and I have a little tray over here that I use to put the parts in. Keeps everything in one spot. Next thing we'll do is we'll pull the front sight off, and that just pulls. You twist it and just pull, and it'll come right off. Next thing we'll do is we'll take the barrel band off. You need the 5/64 for that, and we'll just loosen those screws. There's a little dimple on the barrel that you need to get past. We'll loosen those, and we'll pull that barrel band off. Now this barrel is very loose. In the plastic breech, the barrel will be quite loose in this, so you want to take care with that. Next thing we'll do is we'll take the grip frame off, and this is where a lot of guys will lose parts. Right underneath the grip frame, up against the air tube, is a small spring and a detent ball for the safety. So we'll take the forward grip screw out first. I'm sorry, the grip frame screw out. And then we'll take the rear grip frame screw out, and we're holding this together. We're clamping it with our hand to keep that small ball and spring from getting lost. And you just, this one's the trickier of the two because you got to get at an angle. I usually use a longer screwdriver. Here, I'll get a longer one. This allows you to get at it with a better angle than a shorter screwdriver. And this screw isn't as long as the top one, or the forward one. There you go, that's loose. And now here's that small spring. And right inside there too is a small detent ball. A little tiny thing. So I'm going to put that in the tray. If you want to do the grip frame, if you're going to do a trigger job, take off the right side panel. And underneath that, if you've got the new 3-screw, there's 3 screws, and we use the 1/16 inch tool for that. Take these off. There is a spring here that when we get this cover off, this plate, this spring is going to want to kind of fly all over the place. What we'll do real quick is we'll just reach in and we'll pull that spring off of that perch. There's a little perch here. We'll pull that spring off. That lets the sear kind of flop. And we'll continue to take that apart. Again, I put all the parts in a little tray. Keep them all in one spot. Take the cover off. You have a sear and a pin. We have a safety button. The red ring goes on the left side, so when you put it back together, the red ring goes to the left. We have the trigger blade and a pin. We also have this little spacer. It's like a Belleville, not a Belleville washer, but a spring washer it's called. And that little tiny washer puts tension between the trigger and the frame to keep the trigger from wobbling around. One thing I always do is I always flatten that out a little bit. It's got quite a sharp curve to it, and I usually flatten that out to give it a little bit of trigger pull. So we got the grip frame apart. Now we'll take the air tube apart. First thing you want to do is take the sight screw out, and you want to hold the end plug because it's got a spring tension for the hammer tension, for the hammer spring. So we'll take this screw out, pull the sight and the screw out, and then pull the plug out, and there's the striker spring. Now right underneath the bolt on the 2240 is that little set screw, and it's the one that everybody strips. If you get a really good tool, you can take them out pretty easily. So we're just going to hold this together with our hand, and we're going to take that screw out. Now underneath here is the port. Right underneath there is the port that transfers the air from the valve to the barrel. And it stayed on the tube that time, but sometimes it'll stay in the port of the barrel and the breech. So pull the barrel off the breech. It's like that. It comes apart. Here's the barrel, 7.5 inch barrel. Here's the air port. And this is the pin, the striker pin. So we'll pull that pin out. There's a hole that's been drilled. It's a slot and then a hole at the end of that. That's what that pin will come out. And then the striker will come out. There's the hammer. Here's the port. Yeah, kind of not focused there, but. And underneath here is the O-ring that seals the port to the valve. Just a little black rubber. Not really an O-ring. It's more of a, I don't know, a slice of a piece of tubing. But that fits in that porthole from the valve. So we'll pull that out so we don't lose it. Lastly, we'll take the valve screw out. That's just a little short bugger, a little tiny short screw. Then the valve will come out either forward or backwards on the 2240. There's the air tube. There's a standard 2240 valve. We also would take that valve apart, and but for now, I just basically wanted to show you the disassembly of the gun. I'll lay out the parts now so you can see the parts in kind of an exploded view, and then I'll put it back together. Okay, here's the gun in all of its pieces. I didn't take the valve apart yet, but so we'll start down here with the grip frame. This is the 3-screw grip frame cover, or the trigger parts cover, and it's made out of plastic. It attaches to the grip frame. Here's the trigger parts. See the 2 pins, the sear, the spring, the trigger, the trigger blade bushing, and the safety button. This is one of the grip frame screws that holds the grip frame to the tube. The other grip frame screw. The valve and its hold down screw. The back end of the gun, which is the end plug, the striker spring, and the striker pin. Then here's the breech, the plastic breech. In order to get the bolt out, there's a small cast part. You can kind of see the mold line right in there, and that pops out so you can get the bolt out. The bolt and the handle are all one, are swedged together. Here's your sight and your rear breech screw. There's the tiny breech screw that we all have such trouble with stripping. Oh, bad focus. There we go. The barrel, front sight, the end cap, barrel band, right side grip and its screw, and then the port and the valve and port seal. So that's the gun apart, and now I'll put it back together, and I'll show you a few tricks about putting it back together. Actually, it's basically a reverse of the same. The Discovery guns and the custom guns are a little different because that breech screw isn't readily accessible. You have to take the bolt off, the bolt handle off, the end plug, and then to remove tension from the hammer, and then you can get that off. But anyway, we'll put the camera back up on the tripod, and we will reassemble this gun.